What's up, guys? Rick here with my top 5 fades for this week's Honda Classic. These are golfers that I hope to just create a discussion around and maybe give you pause on. You can decide to play them. That's okay. You don't have to fade someone just because I say so. The point of this video series is to point out some red flags and see if they're worth it or not for you. That's essentially it. So we're going to look at the metrics, we're going to look at the trends, and we're going to identify golfers that I think are either due for a bit of regression. Maybe this isn't a great spot for them. PGA National in general, a pretty volatile course. So a lot of things going on this week. Outside of that, live chat Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time on the RickRunGood YouTube channel for all your ownership, question and answer, all that good stuff. And then 8:15 p.m. Eastern time, a Jock Market Power Hour that is live on the RickRunGood YouTube channel. Joe Idoni and myself breaking down stock market DFS. It is phenomenal. It's getting better each and every week. You should join us for that. Otherwise, let's jump into this week's fades. Let's start with Cameron Davis. And if you've watched anything on this video, on this YouTube channel for the past couple of years or so, you know I like guys like Cameron Davis, and I like Cameron Davis specifically. Raw talent, a lot of upside, high risk, high reward. But what we're seeing right now is that these Florida courses are biting back on Cameron Davis. And I don't know what his ownership is going to be, considering the fact that he finished 8th here last year. He played well at PGA National, but that's kind of the outlier for his success at these Florida courses. So if you look at the Florida swing in his career, he's played 5 events in the state of Florida. He's coming off 2 missed cuts in the last couple of weeks. That's the Players Championship, the Arnold Palmer. We have the 8th place finish at Honda last year. He finished 59th at the Honda in 2019, and he missed the cut at Valspar in 2019. And it kind of makes sense that this is already a very high risk, high reward guy, a very volatile guy going to Florida golf courses that if you are just a little bit off, you are in big trouble, right? There's usually water lurking everywhere, so there's already increased volatility. So you're putting a really crazy volatile guy on some crazy volatile courses, and of course, you're getting crazy volatile results. So maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want a guy who has top 5 upside with a lot of missed cut equity. Probably not for me this week. The metrics don't look good with those 2 missed cuts in a row. The way that he's kind of been hitting the ball with his driver. I'm really concerned about Cameron Davis. I'm just going to sit this one out on him. And then I'm going to, once we get back to, when we get to Texas, maybe you can hit it without regard for accuracy there. When we get to like Rocket Mortgage, when we get to some of these places in the summer that I think are going to be much better spots for him, we'll fire Cam Davis back up. But really big concerns for him at PGA National. Next up is Zach Johnson, and if there was a cover boy, a poster boy for putter regression, it would have to be Zach Johnson. And I like this guy. I've actually played him during this stretch where he's had this hot putter, but he has lost over 10 strokes on approach combined in the last 2 weeks. He has gained 12 strokes with the putter to offset those losses. To put into perspective how good these putting weeks have been, the last 2 weeks have been the second and third best putting weeks for him since the start of the 2018 season. We're talking about 4 years. He's had basically back-to-back ceiling putting weeks. Is that going to happen again? Very unlikely, right? Based on the rest of his results, based on the rest of the resume that we have on Zach Johnson. And if he continues to hit the ball anything like he has done in the past couple of weeks, and he putts even, let's say he gains 3 strokes on approach, which would still, or 3 strokes putting, which would still be great. It is going to be a very short week for Zach Johnson if that putting regression finally does take, and if he continues to hit his irons like this. It's scary stuff. I think he is playing with fire at the moment with these metrics. So I will be avoiding Zach Johnson pretty much across the board this week. Phil Mickelson is up next, and this is one you've got to decide for yourself. I'll describe what's going on, and you determine whether this is sustainable or not. He actually played really well at Sawgrass last week. He finished 35th. He gains 4.5 strokes on approach. He gains 5.5 ball striking, which means he gained 1 off the tee as well. So Is that a sign of things to come? Did Phil figure it out, or is this an outlier week? Well, you look at what he did previous to TPC Sawgrass, and he lost off the tee in 8 consecutive measured events. Then he gained a stroke at Sawgrass. The 4.5 strokes that he gained on approach is his second best week, dating back to the start of the 2019 season. So basically 2.5 full seasons. So I would argue that was probably an outlier. There is much more history especially with the off the tee game, that Phil has struggled and failed to put multiple rounds and multiple tournaments together. And then there is also the fact that that was one of his best ball striking weeks in recent memory. So to me, that's an outlier. Again, PGA National, really scary place to just be a little bit off. But you can decide for yourself. Maybe you think Phil is turning the corner and this is a kind of a buy low opportunity on him. I don't necessarily feel that way, but I wouldn't blame you for it. Rickie Fowler is up next, and I'm not even sure how much of a hot take this is at this point. I think the only thing that people are going to want to roster, they're going to want to bet Rickie Fowler is the course history, right? We're going to get recent form matched up against course history this week. Fowler in the last 5 years, he's won this event. He's finished second. I think he had another top 10 finish. So he's obviously got great results here at PGA National, but the stretch of golf that he is in right now is scary bad. We are now at 25 events in a row without a top 10. That last top 10 coming in the American Express last year, the 2020 American Express, now 25 events ago. There's been a lot of tinkering. We've seen the putter tinkering. We've seen the approach game continue to struggle. Now 4 consecutive measured events. He's lost strokes on approach and similarly in ball striking. The putter has been volatile at best, if I want to put it kindly. So this to me, I'm not even sure how much of a hot take it is, but I think people are going to look at the field, look at the course history, look at the name, maybe consider Rickie Fowler. I continue to need to see more. And I'm happy to be late when Rickie Fowler finally does turn this around. And then finally, Lee Westwood. And I'm not even sure how much of a hot take this is. It's very clear Lee Westwood's playing great golf right now. He's been phenomenal from tee to green. This goes back longer. He was great on the European Tour last year. It's how he won the race to Dubai. Like that's their season-long championship. So it's not like Lee Westwood hasn't been playing well. This is really just a value question. And I actually think he plays like right across the street from PGA National. I'm expecting him to play kind of well again this week, but what you're being asked to pay, whether it is 22-1 on his outright number, well, that's the shortest he's been. Basically since I've been recording historical odds the last couple of seasons, that's the shortest he's been. To put it into perspective, he was 100-1 last week, 150-1 before that, 150. He was 60-1 at last year's Honda Classic when he finished 4th. It's just too short. You're paying the absolute maximum price for him. And then even on DraftKings, for example, he's $10,600. That's like $2,500 more expensive than he's ever been in any tournament. So if you missed out on the boat with Lee Westwood, that's okay. It happens. But I don't think now is the time to get involved with this. Now you are, if he's a stock, you are buying high. And I don't think that's what you need to do. Lee Westwood's very good. He's going to continue to play well from tee to green. He's going to continue to show up at places. Let this settle down for a bit. Let's get him back in some deeper fields and in some places that might be good fits for him as well. Maybe an Open Championship. Like, we don't need to do this here at 22-1 and $10,600 on DraftKings for Lee Westwood. There you go. My top 5 fades for this week's Honda Classic. Let me know who I got right, who I got wrong, and tweet me at RickRunGood. Leave a comment below. Best of luck this week, and I'll talk to you guys soon.